Hey y'all, good morning, or at least good morning for me. It's now just not even 7 o'clock. We're a little bit early here, but good morning for me. I woke up a little while ago, just said goodbye to my husband, and all my kids are still sleeping, so I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just finish my makeup and I can do my eyes. Hopefully they'll still be sleeping and I can just do a very quick eye look and do it on camera with you guys because I'm really excited. I want to use the Endangered Cosmetics Red Panda Press Palette. This little baby right here, it looks like such a fun, very warm tone, my type of warm tone grungy neutral palette that I can't wait to dive in. I've been so excited ever since I saw the release. The swatches looked amazing, and yeah, I want to use this on my eyes today and see how it is. So we'll do another casual Katie get ready with me, give you guys one simple frame. I'll chat as I go and we can just do my makeup together. So let's dive in. I'm going to prime my eyes and we can get started. All right, so I know I'm in a different outfit. It's because it's several hours later. Right when I said I was gonna go prime my eyes, as I was priming my eyes, Levi woke up, and it sounded like he woke up from a bit of a bad dream because he woke up crying really hard. So I just turned the camera off. It's now several hours later. I'm dressed for the day, so hence the whole outfit change. But let's just keep on trucking, shall we? We are going to go, as I said, into the Red Panda palette, and look how beautiful it is. I have so many thoughts, so many ways I could go. I think I'm gonna keep to the yellow side of things. It's probably going to get very red tone because I definitely want to use this in the outer corner to see how deep this palette can go. But I'm going to start with that shade here, and I'm going to, I don't think there's names. No names. I'm going to start with that shade, and then I'm going to deepen it up with that shade. Okay, so as we dive in, I really have no like set plans. Like I feel like usually I give you guys a little synopsis of what I plan to talk about or just chat about as we go along. But I honestly don't have any plans. I just didn't have time this morning. I slept in a little bit, so I didn't have time to do my whole face. So I was like, you know what? I can do, you know, my eyes during naps, or I mean, as I said in the beginning, I thought I'd be able to do it before the kids woke up and we could just chat. So I don't really have anything really pressing on my mind, I guess I could, you know, that I could talk about. So yeah, I don't know, we could just chat about my life, I guess, a little bit, what's been going on. I actually just had a wedding this past weekend. I told you guys when it was happening because the wedding was on a Saturday when I usually do my my Will I Buy It premiere, so I couldn't premiere it Saturday because I was at the wedding. But yeah, I went to, my little brother got married. It's so crazy. He is 3 years younger than me. And he's always just been my little brother, and yeah, it's just so crazy to think about, like, you know, my little baby brother. I don't know if you have a lot of siblings, there's something about, you know, when your siblings are growing up, it's just so, not weird in a bad way, but it's just so strange to like look at them. And I mean, I feel like it was a little weird even when my older siblings got married, but not as weird because I don't know, they were older, so they just always seemed more adultish. I guess seeing my brother get married, who was always like my kid brother, it's like, man, I'm getting older. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me look around and see how much we've grown up and how, I don't know, it's just a different phase of life we are in right now with the 4 oldest now married. And you know, I mean, there's literally some days I look around and be like, wait, I have 3 children. I'm like married and have 3 children. These 3 children are like my children. It's crazy. It's so weird because it's like my oldest is 5, so it's not like it's new. It just turned around. Oh, surprise. But there's just some days that still I look around and it's just so crazy to see, because I feel like in my head I still feel like, not a teen, but like, I don't know, in my 20s trying to figure out life, you know? I think it's interesting to like think about sometimes, because I feel like as a kid you definitely have this outlook of like, oh, when you're older you just, I don't know, adults always seem to have it all figured out, and then you become an adult and you're like, oh, this is what adulthood is like, trying to, you know, raise children. I feel like it's definitely gives a different element to my daily life and whatnot, in that there's this added pressure of knowing that, you know, as you're raising children, you're, you know, setting them up for their future, setting them up for when they become adults and stuff like that. So it's something that my husband and I try to take very seriously. And so sometimes when it's just like, I don't know, something, you know, in life or whatnot, you know, the day throws at us, someone gets seriously injured, it's like, okay, I'm the adult in this situation. I cannot freak out. I have to get it together. I don't know, it's very humorous for me to think of after the fact, after, if there's something scary that happens, but after that, to think about like, man, my parents, you know, growing up, I never realized inside they were probably internally screaming, you know, like I am doing now, or internally freaking out. But anyway, where am I going on this rabbit trail? Honestly, nowhere. Just roaming and having fun on this rabbit trail. So My apologies if this is kind of boring, but yeah, he got married. It was a beautiful wedding. It was a lovely day. Oh my goodness, the weather was perfect here in Florida. Not too hot, but had a nice breeze to it, so you know, when we were outside and whatnot, it wasn't really honestly that bad at all. The place where they had a wedding happened to have a little like playground, fenced in playground attached to it, so my kids were super happy after the wedding and after we ate to run around and play. Yeah, so it was a nice weekend. It was an exhausting weekend though, because I wasn't in the wedding. I wasn't in my brother's wedding, but all my younger sisters were that are still living with my parents. So the morning of the wedding, I actually went and left my husband with the kiddos and went to where they were having the wedding to help get my 6 younger sisters their makeup ready, because they were all in the wedding. And so I wanted to help them out and help them get ready, and they had like hair to curl and makeup to do. I did mostly the makeup. I did a little bit of hair at the very end just to help make sure they were ready in time for pictures. But yeah, that was a busy morning trying to do everyone's makeup and get them all set up, and then I did my mom's as well. But it was fun. It was fun. I enjoy doing makeup. Like, I enjoy helping people with makeup. It makes me very stressed out, especially for weddings. It's like, come on, these are gonna be in pictures, no pressure, Katie, because I definitely don't consider myself to be a makeup artist, but I enjoy, you know, helping out when I can. So that was fun. It was a fun morning. Busy morning, oh my goodness, so busy, because by the time I was done with them, I had to, you know, drive back home to pick up the kids. Is this getting a little patchy? I can't tell. This side looks a little bit patchy, but I don't know if it's just the angle. No, I think it is. It's almost like it's not sticking the more I mess with it right there. Let me try to add a little bit more and then leave it alone. Anyway, I can't remember what I was saying. I think I was just saying that I had to, after they were all ready for the wedding, I had to run back home and finish getting myself ready, because I just did my makeup before I left that morning. So I had to do my hair, get dressed and all that, and then get my kids ready. And then I think by the time I got back home, I had like an hour to get everything ready at the house, and then, you know, go back out for the wedding, because they want to take, you know, pictures with the groom's family and stuff like that, with the groom and the bride before the wedding. So it was just a busy day. I did my makeup that morning. I think at 5:30 I got up and did my makeup, and then we didn't get home till 8 or 8:30, and you know, I washed my face off. I was so surprised that my makeup stayed put. I used a combination of these two foundations on my face, and then a mattifying primer, because I'm very oily and I knew I'd be very sweaty, so I used this Pacifica one. And then I used a setting spray, which I think I used this one. I honestly can't remember. I just used a setting spray. And I remember, you know, I was just so busy running around. I did not have time to really look. I don't think I ever stopped and really looked at my face to see how it was looking, if I needed to like fix any concealer or if my foundation was patching off. Like, I was just so busy. So at the end of the night when I went to wash my face, I was shocked that it still looked good. I think it was a little bit roughed off, maybe around the center of my face. I can't remember exactly. It was a little bit, but a little bit as in like, you know, it still looked really good when I like just looked in the mirror, but it was when I got up close, I think I could see somewhere around my mouth and probably nose area, but besides that, it still looked really good. Okay, we're gonna move on from here. I'm not entirely happy with it, but I feel like I've been messing with this side for a while and it's looking worse, so I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. For the shimmers, I'm just gonna tap a little bit of this NBA Cosmetics Glitter Foil and Liner FX, just to act as like my glitter primer, or shimmer primer, I guess you could say. I like doing this for shimmers just so I can get kind of that half cut crease look. It just makes it easier to get a sharp line without having to do the whole concealer bit, and then it also keeps it from transferring too high up, because I have more deep set eyes that have a hood to them. I've been told I don't have hooded eyes. I don't know what I have, but anyway, when I open my eyes, especially this eye, it definitely touches it onto my brow in my crease, and so it can transfer, you know, depending on the type of shimmer, it can transfer all the way to my brows. So I like to keep them as close to staying on my lid as possible, so hence why I like to use a primer. So I'm just letting that dry, because I definitely don't want to put it on wet because it messes with it. But what are we going to use? I really want to use this shade because it looks so very pretty. And then I'm going to use, should I just use these two? I feel like they're very similar. Let me look at them. Here they are. They're different. I feel like I should just keep this for the inner corner highlight, but I feel like it'll be more striking if I do these two on the lid. You know what I mean? but then I have nothing for an inner corner highlight, but that's okay. I can just use my face highlighter. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take this shade and this shade on my lid. Yeah, I'm not crazy how that is looking. I feel like it's only where it's only doing that where I touched, or like I already had shadow down. So I'm gonna have to play around with this palette to see if maybe I need to work from light to dark. And that's just how this palette will work best. Like the dark needs to stick down first and then you can use the other colors to blend it out, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna have to play around with this, but definitely not crazy about how it blends on top of other shadows at this present moment. Again, these videos, I should reiterate this in every video. I just honestly don't think about it. But you know, these are always just first impressions, so take that for what it is. This is the first time I have used this palette. I guess a couple times that I've done these Get Ready With Me videos, they're more than first impressions, so I guess I should clarify in each video if I've used these or not. I'm gonna start with the lighter color. That way, I don't know, I could just use one brush and it's easier to add darker color on the brush after the fact and not notice a mixing of the shadows instead of the other way around. That's literally the only reason. Let's just apply it here. I forget what I was talking about before we moved on to shimmers. I think I was just talking about helping my siblings get ready for the wedding. It was so fun because she had her colors was kind of, I would call it like a muted purple. It was purple, but it was almost like that gray purple is the color. So it was fun. Some of my sisters wanted to do more like a cool tone purple. Maybe that's how I should describe it. They want to do like a cool tone eye look. So that was a lot of fun. And I got to do wings, which are always terrifying, but a lot of fun when they turn out on my sister winging out their liner. And then also like trying to figure out makeup too. I feel like it definitely stretched me because all my sisters have different type of skin tones and whatnot. Some are oily, some are very dry. One of my sisters was having issues with her skin just like being super dry and flaky, and she didn't know why. But regardless of what caused it, the day of the wedding she didn't want her foundation flaking, looking like a flaky mess. So that was interesting. Dermalogica to the rescue along with some really hydrating face products, I think, saved the day because you really couldn't tell. I couldn't tell after the fact just talking with her. But I think if she got up close in the mirror she could still see how dry her face was, but definitely in pictures in the day of when she was in the wedding and whatnot you couldn't tell. So I was happy about that because I tell you, I didn't really ever have to deal with too much dryness. When I moved to California, actually, I had horrible dry skin, but that was just like we were there a year and it was just the first couple months of me being there. I think because my skin was so oily, acne prone, but it was used to Florida humidity, and then we went out to California in the center of California where there's like zero humidity and it just dried it out, but it was also still acne prone, so it was like breaking out but drying. So I was trying to use these drying products to dry up the acne, which was making my skin even more dry. So I remember that right after my wedding was a hot mess, but I wasn't in a wedding or anything like that, so it wasn't that big a deal. Nothing that I remember long term in like pictures and whatnot. So I've dealt with dry skin, but it was just normal life. So but I definitely, with that said, totally remember the frustrations of trying to conceal problematic skin, because when in my teens I had my later teens. My younger teens I didn't have much acne, but in my later teens I had a lot of acne, and that, I think I've mentioned it before, but that was the big reason I got into makeup, because it wasn't even for the eyeshadow. I always loved wing liner, but the reason I kind of jumped into makeup was to find foundations that could cover my acne because it was so bad. And also I found that just wearing makeup, even if it looked terrible on top of my acne, it actually helped my habit of picking, because even to this day I just have a very bad habit of, if I have a zit, I'm going to pop it. If there's a whitehead, even if there's not, but definitely if it's white, I have to pop it. So I found that if I wore makeup every day, and it's one of the reasons I still wear makeup every day because it still holds true to helping me, but if I have makeup on, I leave my face alone because A, it's somewhat concealed, but B, also too, I'm like, I'm not going to touch my face because if I touch my face it's going to mess up the foundation and it's just going to look terrible. And so it really does help curb that inkling that I get whenever I get up close in a mirror and I'm looking at the breakout spots on my face. It'll be like, my makeup's looking good, my foundation's looking great, I'm not gonna mess with it. So it's been a big help in that respect, but it was definitely helpful in my younger years and teens. Like I said, even if my foundation was terrible and like all sorts of, you know, crusty around my acne spots, it was still, my acne was covered and I didn't want to make all, you know, it red and showing, so I would not mess with it much, and that kind of helped me not pick it, which also helped my skin have a chance to heal, because otherwise, like, oh my goodness, anytime I went to the bathroom, I would see all the breakouts and just get so frustrated, or honestly, I would just find enjoyment in popping the white ones, but also just get frustrated with seeing all of like the crusty, you know, scabs, whatever, from the ones that were healing, and I would pick at them and stuff like that. So makeup definitely helped that, because it was getting bad for a while there. I don't even know how I got onto talking to you guys about my acne story, my acne journey, but here we are. I'm just going to take, actually, I'm just going to take a touch of this on my finger, and I'm going to tap it between the two. Not that there's a problem, like if I spent a little longer, I could get a really nice blend, but maybe I'm just not looking to spend as long. I don't know, I'm just figured I might as well use it. This is definitely not as shimmery as the other two I just used. I would call it more of a satin, kind of like that dark shade we're going to use on the lower lash line. It's very soft of a sheen. Anyway, I'm gonna go just back and forth until I like it. I vividly remember, you know, having such bad, terrible acne, but I also know objectively at the same time, like I didn't have like cystic, terrible acne like some people I know, but I had it enough to where I was very very conscious of it all the time. I was very uncomfortable with it, and like I said, I just had a really bad habit that just made it 10 times worse. So that was another reason that I really wanted to find makeup to help cover it, and one of the reasons I'm still so grateful. Like now, I think a lot of it had to do with getting pregnant and stuff like that, but ever since getting pregnant, because before getting pregnant I was on acne medications. I can't remember the exact ones, I got them from my dermatologist, but I would be on them and they would keep it under control, except for the, you know, once a month I'd still break out a little bit, but it kept it under control after a little while. You know, out in California, finally got on it and it was working for me. But when I got pregnant, it was safe to use while pregnant. Again, I forget which one I was using. It was safe to use while pregnant, but I just found towards the end of the pregnancy, I think the prescription ran out and I couldn't get it filled because, you know, the pharmacy at the pharmacy where I was going was not stocking it or something, or was having a hard time getting a hold of it. And so I just kind of accidentally started not using it, and then over time, like, I kind of got out of the habit, or I was using it sparingly, and then I was like, you know what, let me just see what happens if I stop it. And so I stopped using it, I think after my first one, Olivia, was born. And I just kind of figured out, again, I don't know if it's because, you know, going through pregnancy changed my skin and my hormones a bit, or because I was getting older. I think I was 23, 24 when I had Olivia. I can't remember. I think I got married when I was 22, so I think I'd be like 23 or 24. Thereabouts when I had Olivia, and so I don't know if, you know, I was just getting older, my skin was maturing, so it wasn't having, you know, I don't know, as oily, wasn't having all that breakouts, but I don't know, I just noticed that my skin wasn't as problematic and wasn't as finicky as before. It also could have something to do with the fact that having Olivia, you know, I didn't have my period for a while. I was pregnant with her, didn't have my period, and then when I got pregnant with, you know, my second child, didn't have my period for a while, so that respect, those hormones weren't going up and down, but you still get a lot of other hormones when you're pregnant. So I don't know, whatever the reason. There's a line right here, I'm not really sure. Probably just took I probably just took the glitter primer up too high, but there's a line there. Okay, we're just gonna call it good. I really don't like how this eye looks. Like I said, there's this line here, right there, that I can't really blend out. Maybe I can blend it out with this. It looks like, because it's such a harsh line where shimmer's sticking and then it's not blending it anywhere, I'm guessing that I took that primer out too far, because it's like literally not moving no matter how much I blend over that one spot. So that's gonna be my guess. But even that aside, I'm not crazy about this outer corner. Not crazy about it. I'm gonna put on some big wings. We'll be right back. We'll see how much these wings can cover. Okay, we have some wings. probably not the biggest. And when I say big wings, I guess these are big for me. And not big, maybe just thick. I tend to like very thin wings. So anyway, these are the wings that we're going with, and it definitely helps conceal and kind of just, yeah, cover up what was going on the very outer corner, because I feel like it looked worse on the very outer corner. Now it doesn't look as bad. Definitely didn't solve the issues, but it's not as bad. You have to tell me what you think, because I feel like a lot of times too with these videos, I feel like I say this every time, I'm so sorry, but I really do feel like sometimes you can't see, or it looks worse on camera than it does in person, or sometimes it even looks better in camera. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the lighting, because I do play around with my lighting not infrequently, so maybe that's my fault with it always changing from looking better or worse. But anyway, oh yeah, I forgot I was going to do my mascara too. Let's go ahead and finish out the lower line, and then I'll pop back off to do my mascara. But since we're back, might as well keep on trucking. So I'm going to just use a black in my waterline. I'm going to use this one from Milani. It's called After Dark. It's their Stay Put. I think it's black. Maybe it's like a gray black, but it's dark enough. I'm just going to pop this in my waterline, and then we can move on. And like I said, I'm going to use that dark shimmer. Okay, so I'm going to start with this and start blending it out and see how it looks, and I'll probably, you know, be taking something else, maybe even that red just to try it, that matte red. But let's start with the black and see how intense it is and go from there. So I'm just going to pop this right against here. Yeah, that looks nice. It's like a smoky black, I would call it. And kind of like as I suspected, it's not like a super shimmery or even like sparkly where it's like getting sparkles in my eyes or anything. It does kind of behave more like a satin. Because even like turning my head, I really don't see a sheen. So that's, when I don't see an obvious sheen, that's when I don't really call it a shimmer, I call it a satin. Whether that's correct or not, I really don't know. That's just kind of what what I think in my head, how I kind of categorize them. So that's why I call it that way. Like I said, could be wrong. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll just do the red. Maybe it'd be better to do the orange since I have the orange on top, but you guys know me, especially in these videos, I like to use as much as I can. And especially like for first impressions, I like to play around with the palette. Okay, I like how that looks. Now I'm going to take that yellow, the first shade on that first brush, and I'm just going to blend out, kind of grungify the outer corner. Okay, so there is that. I just put on some mascara, and now I'm going to put on a little bit of highlight. I'm just going to take, again, my face highlight. I feel like my face highlight either kind of like either fell off or just was very subtle this morning, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. It's the Iced Out highlighter from ABH, and I'm just going to use that same one on my inner corner. I feel like that'll go with this look. And as I'm doing this, I can see a spot right there. Let me take this clean brush. That's not blended out, and it's kind of driving me a little bonkers. There we go. Okay, cleaning off that brush, I'm just going to take it. I should probably wet my brush just to get the most out of this as I can. So I'm going to take it. Typically don't use a setting spray. I'll use like an illuminating or glowing spray. I don't know why, this is what I usually use, but anyway, just gonna pack this on and we're pretty much done. So yeah, that's pretty much the look. There were a little bit of issues with the blending of the darkest shade. I do want to clarify that it's just this darkest shade here. I didn't notice any issues blending either one of these, and obviously I didn't use much of the red, so can't really say, but these two that I used a good bit, these two in the middle, no issues blending those together. They blended together beautifully, I think very easily. So it's just that darker shade I'm gonna have to play around and see if it just needs to be set down first and then everything else blends on it fine on top, or if it's just a problematic dark shade that's going to patch off if you touch it more than 2 seconds, you know, that sort of thing. So definitely stay tuned for my review on that. The shimmers are, they're okay. I feel like that issue is kind of making me biased against them, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, the way it's sticking, it looks like what happens when I use too much of that NBA, or if I use it and it hasn't dried completely, it'll just stick and not move because it's a really good glitter glue. So it'll stick and just refuse to move. So that really is the only issue, because over here it looks fine. I like the blend. I really do like the amount of like shimmer, sparkle, not sparkle, but shimmer these two have. This one is very, very subtle, as is this one, so I don't know, like this will be fine. I think next time I use a look, I'll use this as my deepest shade in the outer corner, and it might even blend a lot easier than this. So that'll be good if that, you know, holds true, because I can just use this to blend and leave this one alone if it's, you know, continues to be problematic and just not worth the trouble. But as far as like lid shades, this is going to be a little bit boring for me. But regardless, you know, it's a shadow. Maybe that's just also me like saying that's boring. Maybe a lot of people will enjoy it. I'm gonna actually take this really quick and just clean up my brows. That's something I don't mind doing if it's in a palette, you know, might as well. Also too, I'm gonna use this for an all matte cut crease at some point as I test this palette, because I definitely like to do that. My alarm just went off, I gotta go. work on dinner now. But anyway, I think it works really nice for an inner corner, or you know, cleaning up my brow bone, so I like that. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty much the look. Per usual, I'm gonna go ahead and stick a close-up so you guys can see how it all turned out. See up close, you guys can see those problem areas I was speaking of. You know, maybe you can't really see them in the far away shots, and maybe up close you'll be able to see them better. But yeah, this is the final look. I am excited to continue trying this palette. I'll definitely have to continue trying it more to give you guys a thorough review. Overall, I think the color story is really nice. I definitely enjoyed working with most of the shadows, but I can't remember off the top of my head how much this is, so I'm gonna have to continue working it and definitely, you know, catch you guys up in my palette Palooza review when I rank this to let you guys know if I think it's worth the money or not. But yeah, this is the first look. I really do like this type of look. It's definitely my type of neutral palette. The color story is definitely my type of neutral, so I'm excited to try it, and I'm excited for this new brand. So stay tuned for more information, and stay tuned for a more thorough review coming from me in a few weeks, maybe a month, whenever I do my next palette Palooza. I'll be reviewing this in that video. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I hope you guys didn't mind the real rambliness of this video. I feel like I was just all over the place. But with all that said, I'm gonna let you guys go and go start dinner, as I just said. But yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in my next one. Bye guys.